All right, what if I throw in Kuzma as well? Rob, I literally don't know how many times I can tell you this. We are not looking to sell Zach Levine. That is not something we are looking to do. Okay, you want to play hardball, Mark. Okay, that's fine. What if I make you an offer you just can't resist? I'll make you an offer that you simply cannot resist. Well, I'd say, what's the damn offer? All right, so we'll give you Kyle. We'll give you Contavious. How many first-round picks do we have? 2033 first-round pick and a 2047 pick swap, and then maybe a 2057 pick swap as well. All right, Rob, so it seems like you're not taking this thing seriously. You think that's the best offer you got. You're just not taking this thing seriously. All right, I'll catch you later. I'll talk to you another time. Whoa, wait. Hold up. Just between us two. It's just us on this phone call. Zach's not going to be in Chicago next year. Come on, let's be honest with yourself. Zach is not going to be in Chicago. He's not coming back. So you may as well just give him a head start. And it's always good to have a nice relationship with us because, we're obviously the best franchise in the league. Am I right? Am I right? Mark? Hello? Oh. When the Bulls traded for Nikola Vucevic this season, it signaled a couple of things. One, obviously, they were getting an all-star, a 20 and 10 guy, someone who could pair up with Zach Levine. But more importantly, Zach Levine, the guy who took the step into becoming an elite scorer this season, 27, 5 and 5 on 50% from the field, over 41% from three, and 85% from the line. Yeah, that guy that they want to keep as the franchise player, it signaled their intent to keep him and to make a push to keep him satisfied. That's what I saw when I saw the Vucevic signing. I saw a team that wanted to win now, and they want to win now because of Zach Levine. Absolutely because of Zach Levine, because you want to keep him, and well, if you continue to fail to make the playoffs or even the play-in, keeping Zach will be a little bit of a tricky thing to do. So that's why they signed Vucevic, and that's why they made the decision to win now, and they've got to win now. So that's what we want to talk about. Before I even do that, if you could drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you know I make content like this every single day, and doing so just helps out a ton. But getting to the point, Chicago didn't take the jump they would have hoped after firing that absolute numpty, the mess that is Jim Boylan, the bald-headed idiot. What else do I have to say? The man is he's a moron. He's a moron. He said moronic things regularly, and I think he drew up moronic plays pretty regularly as well. So it just wasn't really a situation. It wasn't really a mesh. I don't think Jim Boylan meshes with anyone, the players, the coaching staff. You get the point. They fired him. They brought in Billy Donovan, who I think is a solid coach, maybe a good coach. Some would say he's decent. He's decent enough, and that's a big improvement from terrible to decent. You take that every single day of the week, and they made an improvement. They moved up a couple of wins. Obviously, last season was a shortened season, as was this season, but in general, their winning percentage was better under Billy Donovan. But they weren't exactly groundbreakers, 31 and 41. Their offensive and defensive rating kind of suggests that. I mean, middle of the pack defensively, and then just below middle of the pack offensively as well. It wasn't exactly a great season for them. However, there is hope if you're a Bulls fan, because when Vucci, Main, and Zach played together, just 15 games they played together, only 15 games. When they did play together, they had an elite offensive rating. Well, elite, is that a stretch? Top 10. They were like 8th, I believe, offensive rating-wise, when those two played together in the 15 games as well. That's just the first 15 games they've played together. So you would think, as they get more familiar, as they bring in a couple of free agents, which we're going to talk about, and make a couple of extra moves, maybe that offensive rating could go up a notch. Or maybe it'll stay around there. Top 10 offensive rating is good, considering their defense was above average as well this season. So that's impressive. Their record was 7 and 5, although the first few games they played were all losses. So after those first few games, after they felt each other out, hold up, that sounds weird, but you get the point. After they did that, they were good. They were a good team. They were a decent team, and a much improved team from what they were before Vucevic was there, which is important. That's all that matters. But let's talk about the free agency now, actually. I was going to talk about Patrick Williams. We'll get into him in a bit. We'll get into the other players on this roster, but we may as well just talk about free agency, because when they did sign Vucevic, this was one of the biggest positives I thought was with the signing, because you've got free agents that Chicago's a big market, of course, and you've got guys who would probably be happy to go there if it's a team looking to contend for at least the playoffs. And right now, that's exactly what they're doing. You've got 2 all-star level players. People want to play with Zach Levine. People wouldn't mind playing with Vucevic. Like, it's a decent situation there. They don't have a terrible coach now. So you've got guys like Lonzo Ball, who I think is probably the ideal target for this team. John Collins is another one, Reggie Jackson. There's a few guys for sure, but I think Lonzo Ball is the one that makes the most sense, because they need playmaking. Zach Levine, elite scorer. Absolutely elite scorer. Improved his defense, but still not a great defender. Still not a great playmaker. Lonzo Ball, on the other hand, good defender, really good playmaker, particularly in transition, but even in the half court, he can play make. He can create his own shot off the dribble. He's really turned into a genuine lethal three-point threat, someone that can come off screens, someone that can run dribble handoffs with Vucevic, all of those things. He's a reliable from beyond the arc, and he's improved kind of getting to the rim. He's still not great, but that's why Zach Levine's there. You get the elite scoring from Zach, and then Lonzo does the other things where he playmakes for the team. He's actually really good at finding mismatches inside, which is a minor thing, but I saw it with Zion this season, where a lot of other guys, when they had the ball in their hands, didn't recognize when Zion had the right matchup or when he was in the right position or didn't put it to the right spot to his advantage. Lonzo will do that with Vucevic. It's just a minor thing, but it does help a lot. So he'll do that. And then with Levine provides that scoring, which really eases the burden off Lonzo and just allows him to be that playmaker, that defender, that shooter. That's what you want. So I think if you can get him at a reasonable price, he doesn't seem too keen to be in New Orleans. From all reports that have been going on for about 2 years, pretty much since he landed in New Orleans, there's been reports that he doesn't want to be there. John Collins is an interesting one. Look, I've watched a lot of Hawks games, so I kind of know what John Collins is. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. He'd fit decently alongside the team. I just think the playmaking issue is a little bit of it because John Collins isn't really creating his own shot. You don't want to pay him much more than $20 million a year because I think in those couple of Bucks games that we saw him without Trae Young, exposed is a strong word, but you did start to see that his offensive game it's a lot more limited than you would think for someone who's scoring 20 points a game on pretty good efficiency because Trae Young, he serves it on a plate for him. He throws up lobs, he breaks down the defense, he does all of those things. And Zach Levine will do that to a degree, but he's not going to be throwing the same lobs. He's not the same kind of passer, not even in the same ballpark as him. Thomas Satoransky, I know he's sunk Canada, and yeah, he's not the same passer as Trae Young either. So John Collins, I don't mind the signing. Defensively, he's improved. I do think the foot speed between him and Vucevic, a little bit of a concern. So I don't love that. I don't love that at all. And Reggie Jackson, another guy, again, similar to Collins. I just don't think the fit is there. A backcourt of Reggie and Zach. I just think the playmaking is lacking a little bit. You don't have much playmaking coming from anywhere else. I guess if Thadrick is at the 4, is he your best playmaker, him and Zach? I don't think that's enough playmaking. Reggie's a good shot creator. He's a good scorer. He might get paid. He might get overpaid this summer. I don't really like those two guys. I'd settle for Lonzo Ball, or if you could, I guess 2 guys that are probably going to be decent instead of trying to go for a bit of a home run, which those guys aren't home runs to that degree, but you get the point. Similar to what the Bucks and the Suns did with the likes of Jay Crowder and PJ Tucker, those guys, or Thadrick Johnson. You saw what he did for the Bulls this season in particular. If you got a couple of those guys, I wouldn't mind that. I'd probably prefer that to getting one of Collins or Reggie, but getting back to the Bulls team as of right now, Patrick Williams is the guy that should be their 3rd option. I guess if they brought in someone else, maybe their 4th option. But he's going to be their 3rd best player going forward. That's what they're hoping at least, because defensively, he's already shown switchability. I've seen him guard Zion. I've seen him guard Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell. He can switch onto different positions, good foot speed, good strength. He can create off the dribble. He's got a really nice mid-range jump shot, and that's nothing new. In college, he had good mid-range jump shot numbers as well. His 3-point shot isn't amazing, but it's steady, it's reliable. I think if he's there, he's going to demand respect from the 3-point line at the very least. There's a lot of reasons to believe, I think going into next year, 12 to 15 point per game scorer, someone who can hopefully create a little bit when Zach or Vucevic aren't on the floor, and then defensively he's going to be asked to do a lot, and I think they're gearing him up for that responsibility. They gave him a lot of tough assignments this year, knowing going forward he is going to be their defensive stopper that they definitely need because Zach has improved. Vucevic, they're just not great defensive players. I think Zach can get a little bit better. I think he wants to get better, which is important, but they're not great. Patrick Williams could be a great defender, and also offensively, he's got a lot more in his locker than I think people first anticipate. And then looking at a couple of the other guys, Kobe White, I know he's injured right now, but I see him coming off the bench. That's why I talked about the Lonzo, the Reggie Jacksons of the world. I see him as a 6th man. He's someone who can provide a spark plug. He's not a great playmaker. He's not an unbelievable defender by any means, but he can provide a spark plug off the bench. Is that a little bit underwhelming for where you drafted him? Maybe, yeah. Well, it is, but he could still be that 6th man, and everyone needs someone who can come off the bench and provide that scoring spark, and I think Kobe White can be that guy. So whether you expected more of him or not, unfortunately, you have to just temper your expectations right now, and if he can come off the bench and be a 12 to 15 point per game scorer and give you that spark, that's what every winning team needs. So if he can transform his game into just being a really effective role player, that's going to help the team. Thadrick Johnson, speaking of effective role players, His name's Thadrick Johnson for a reason. He's still under contract for another year, and I'd expect them to keep him because I'm pretty sure he's good friends with Zach Levine, and Zach kind of recognizes he's going to help the team win, and I think the Bulls should as well because he was great for them last season. In general, I talked about Satoransky sinking Canada. He's still under contract. I don't exactly know what they're going to do with him. I don't think they'd love to keep him, but they might have to because he's $10 million a year is quite a lot for Thomas Satoransky. Lauri Markkanen, pretty much completely forgot about him, I'm going to be honest. I don't see him coming back to the Bulls. I don't see the defense being good enough. I just think it's time to cut ties with Lauri Markkanen. I think he recognizes that. The Bulls recognize it. It's unfortunate. I think he'll go somewhere else and be good. Bulls fans know that, I'm pretty sure, but you just got to cut ties. It's just not working right now. In terms of anyone else they could bring back, Daniel Tice, I'm pretty sure they'd like to bring him back. He's the kind of guy that you want as your backup center, can space the floor, can defend, can be versatile if you need to move him to the four or if you need him to step into the starting spot. I mean, he started for a really good team in Boston before. He's a good player. He's a good backup center if you have him at the backup spot. So I'm sure you'd love to bring him back. Whether you do that or not, I don't know. But those are the biggest things I think the Bulls have to focus on this upcoming season to take that next step. And they need to take that next step because you're trying to keep Zach Levine, who is still in the prime of his career, still entering the prime of his career. And if you can get him to a max contract, if you can get him to stay in Chicago, then for the next 5 to 6 years, you have him, Patrick Williams, I don't know how long Vucevic will be running around for, and whatever else you can build. If you bring in Lonzo Ball, all of a sudden a big market town in Chicago, and you're going to have guys that want to play there. You're going to have a nice up-and-coming team that is also competitive right now. That's what you're looking to do if you're the Bulls. Try to compete now, and then you can build with